Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Well, I think this is probably a PG 13 podcast, probably, like a TV 14, softest. I'm Mickey on VHS, and I'm here with my lovely co host.
Hi guys, it's Leah. It's good to be back with you again. And today we have on tap a couple of comic book things and some football.
Yes, we are currently snowed in our region of the United States of America. So, what better thing to do when you're snowed in than eat pizza and make podcasts? So, first things first, maybe we should just get the sports out of the way. But the Kansas City Chiefs are trying to go back to back against the Tom Brady led Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do you think about that, Leah?
I think it's an intriguing matchup. It promises it has the potential to be a high scoring game. I think right now the Chiefs are a 3.5 point favorites by the odds makers, and Patrick Mahomes can play from behind. He can play with a lead. He's better, arguably, at playing from behind. So if Tom Brady goes up by a couple of touchdowns, the game is by all means not over.
Patrick Mahomes can play from behind. Title of your sex tape. I really do think the Chiefs have the best chance of going back to back. I thought the Seahawks could have done it at the beginning of the last decade, but that didn't really work out for them. The Chiefs seem to have only gotten better since last season. My boy Le'Veon Bell is still on the roster. Don't know if he's going to be playing during the Super Bowl. So, and I don't know how much time has passed since our last podcast, but me and the Jets have kind of mended bridges, and I am back on the New York Jets bandwagon. I don't know if it's bandwagon. I've been here since like 2002, but I'm back being a New York Jets fan now that they've hired Leah's former defensive coordinator as our head coach. So I'm glad to see one of my former Jets in the Super Bowl where they're able to get a ring and just beating Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I mean, what's better than that?
Along with the Super Bowl right now, there's some intriguing free agency. Well, the free agency hasn't technically started yet, but some deals are being made for quarterback switching around the league. Jared Goff has been traded to the Detroit Lions for Matthew Stafford and some first round picks next year, the year after that, and a third round pick this year. So things are starting to get heated with the quarterback carousel in the NFL.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see things wheeling and dealing as far as quarterbacks are concerned in the NFL postseason this year. I don't think it's going to be like this. I think this is unprecedented. Like this is the first time in like league history that this many like quarterbacks are being thrown around, and not just like backup quarterbacks, but like franchise quarterbacks. Right now, Deshaun Watson is trying to get out of Houston, and I don't blame him. I think Leah's team, the 49ers, have the best chance of landing him. I would say probably Jimmy G, a first round pick this year, and I don't know, maybe like a third next year or something like that would be pretty good. The Jets are going to have to give him the farm, but, like Mark says, he would be the best Jet quarterback I would have seen in my lifetime. So it's going to be interesting. I heard Kirk Cousins might be on the move too, which is kind of wild. Yeah, teams are just they're not complacent with having a quarterback that can just kind of get the job done. They want to win Super Bowls. They want to win championships. And if you can't do it, no matter how much money's on your contract, they will ship you.
I think there's also Carson Wentz. Philadelphia might be on the move. Aaron Rodgers says he doesn't know what his future holds. So that could be intriguing. Does he want to go home to the Bay Area? That would be stellar matchup.
Dude, you're sweating a little bit just saying that. Imagine, just doing a redo, I think, of the 2005 NFL draft. Aaron Rodgers going first overall to the 49ers instead of Alex Rodriguez. Oh my goodness! Instead of Alex Smith, like that could have completely rewrote the history of your franchise. You guys probably would have had 10 Super Bowls by now. Um, Imagine him just like ending his career in San Francisco. That would be pretty nuts.
That would be pretty nuts, and I would not be opposed to it at all.
Send them Jimmy G, probably two first round picks, Couple of thirds, I think you could probably get it done. I mean, Jimmy G's contract's not that crazy, so I mean, it's possible, man. But it's definitely a situation where the Packers are not going to deal Aaron Rodgers unless they get a guy that can play the position behind him. Jordan Love's not there right now, so I think them trading for Jimmy G, even if they're not completely sold that he can be, a quarterback that can win them a Super Bowl. At least they have someone on the bench that's kind of taking mental reps and everything. That's why I think that it's kind of unlikely, but it's most possible with him going to the 49ers because he's going to want to go to another contender. He's not going to want to go to a team like, the New York Jets or anything like that.
I think with all this talk of Jimmy G, the Patriots are a likely destination for him. I think that Bill Belichick likes him. He works in the system. It's just a matter of what can you get for trade value from the Patriots for him.
Speaking of the Patriots, I think it's absolutely hilarious that Matt Stafford went to the Lions head office and was like, trade me literally anywhere but the New England Patriots. He's my best friend. I don't know where that came from. It's great. The Detroit Lions signing Matt Patricia as their head coach, I thought it was a bad move when I just saw it on papers, but I think it really did just set their franchise back a few, at least a decade. Like that guy destroyed morale at that team, and this is coming from a guy who's been in a continuous rebuilding process for the past 20 years. But speaking of changing your franchise player to someone completely different and trying to make it work, there has been one of the last few CW TV shows, Batwoman, they've gotten Ruby out and they got Javicia, they got her in there, and Leah has been consuming every episode live tweeting if you've been following her on Twitter. So Leah, I would love to hear what you think of the new Batwoman TV show episodes.
I think that they've set up an interesting premise with whether Ruby Rose's character, Kate Kane, whether she's alive or dead. She seemingly went missing in a plane crash and they can't find a body. So right now, some of the characters have no hope and other characters have renewed hope based on what's going on with the plot. They've introduced some new characters, most notably Javicia Leslie's Ryan Wilder. She's a down on her luck Gothamite, Gothamist,
Gothamian?
trying to rebuild herself into a contributing member of the Gotham Society. And the way she's doing that is she found Kate's Batwoman suit in the plane wreckage, and she's ingratiated herself into the Bat family, Luke Fox and Mary Hamilton, in on her secret. And she's doing her best to take up the cowl and clean up Gotham and do what's right.
From what I heard briefly of the show, I do think it's cool that with her character, she's bringing in the point of view of I've been around criminals for most of my life. I know how to think like a criminal. I'm bringing something new to it as opposed to just having the exact same character type as Kate Kane and it's Kate Kane, but now she's a black Kate Kane. They had the opportunity to do something a little bit different with the character, and you guys know how I feel about black actresses, so I always want to see one of my girls win. So I'm glad that at least as far as I know, they haven't been like, oh, she's a former drug kingpin or she used to sell drugs for this person.
Javicia Leslie brings a lot of heart and a great comedic timing to the role of Ryan Wilder. That much I will say. And it seems like from all the promotional behind the scenes Instagram live that the cast does to promote the show, that they all really like working with each other, which is great to see and translates well on screen.
Could you have imagined if Stephanie Beatriz was just Batwoman? I know it's not going to happen. The time has passed, and I would not. I don't want a different Batwoman than we have right this second, but just in a what if DC situation, if Diaz just decided to be, oh, I'm going to go down to Gotham and be Batwoman for a while, that would be completely realistic to me. I don't know. I've been watching way too much Brooklyn Nine-Nine with Leah.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities one day that Stephanie Beatriz could play Kate Kane, because on the show, the character Alice, who is Kate Kane's biological twin sister, she has a penchant for remaking faces. And so, if Kate Kane were to ever come back on the screen, it doesn't necessarily have to be Ruby Rose.
I don't have anything to really contribute to that. I just want to say hi to Nicole Kang because she's lighting it up every episode that I see her in, and it would have been cool if she would have been Batwoman too. It doesn't make it. I know it probably. Listen, guys, I know it doesn't make sense at all with the story. Probably if she was just like, you know what, I'm gonna put on the bat suit, but I would have liked to see it. I just want just once, just to see how it looks on her. All right, I'm gonna cut it out there.
For what it's worth, Mary Hamilton, Nicole Kang's character, is my favorite. She has so much depth and range of emotion to her character, and she makes you feel what she's feeling. It's really great.
I haven't watched a complete episode of Batwoman, but whatever Leah says goes, and I will completely stand behind it. I'm not really into the whole episodic, waiting a week for new episodes of TV shows. I think that's why I haven't gotten into a lot of TV shows, superheroes aside. But then, here I am watching WandaVision every week, so I don't know what's really happening with me and my reputation. But we've been checking out WandaVision on Disney Plus. They come out at 3 a.m. every morning, which in theory I'm just like, oh great, when I can't sleep, I can watch new episodes of WandaVision, but that hasn't happened at all. I watch them after work when I'm extremely tired. And I think it's, the newest episode, I think was episode 3 or 4. I think that one has been the best one. I don't really have a problem with old 50s and 60s and 70s like sitcoms, but when you're watching like an MCU TV show, I don't. That's not the energy I really want from it. It doesn't necessarily have to be Elizabeth Olsen punching guys in the testicles for 30 minutes, which I wouldn't have a problem with. But it just it reminded me of like it reminded me when like I was a kid and you'd be watching Nickelodeon, and then at like 8 o'clock it go to Nick at Night and it's just black and white, all these old TV shows that you don't care about, and it's just like such a buzzkill. So with this new episode, when they start to actually expand on what's happening like on the show, within the first 10 minutes of it, I remember turning to Leah and being like, this is the best episode so far, hands down. Now right now that like the series is like picked up for me.
And be careful, we're going to talk a little bit of spoilers here.
But Diana Paris is a very important part of the show. It's no surprise who she plays on the show, so that's good. But I think it's really dope that she's like a very important part of this MCU going forward, where we have so many old faces leaving and going on to greener pastures. Some of them I think are coming back, but this is it looks like it's turning in the direction of introducing new people and having kind of like a grassroots way of establishing a relationship and emotions with characters that you see that you won't be able to get in a movie that comes out every 2 to 3 years. So like we're sitting here like we can't be too like spoily, but there's nothing to really spoil. Like nothing's really happened until this newest episode. So and like I won't go into detail what's going on with that episode. It's a lot and it's dope. Like I almost wanted to watch it immediately after I watched it the first time. But the first couple of episodes are really trying to like world establish, I guess. If you like I Love Lucy and those old kind of like Brady Bunch and old TV shows like that, I think you'll dig it. And if you're in a mind state where you're looking at clues and episodes that won't play out until later in the season, I think you'll be fine. But I'm just very impatient when it comes to those things. I'm used to things wrapping up in about 90 minutes. So to get like a clue of something one week and having to wait like 2 months to get the answer to it, it's heavy.
With what has been happening on the show, it seems likely that Wanda is creating her own pocket universe to deal with trauma and grief of losing her brother, of losing the Vision, and she expels any part of the real world that she just doesn't want to deal with. So that includes Teyana Paris' character, Monica Rambeau being expelled from the sitcom in the 70s episode, and the beekeeper from the 60s episode coming out of the sewer.
There's definitely a lot of Easter eggs, and I always think it's cool when superhero movies have certain Easter eggs and everything that kind of caters specifically to comic book fans. Because really, other than like long series like James Bond or I can't even really think of anything else. Maybe Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, something that's based off of books. There's not a lot of movies that can really go ham with Easter eggs specifically devoted to the core audience. So I always think it's cool that MCU takes so much time, and especially with this show, it seems like there was a whole separate team where it's like, okay, we have to have this shelf over here slightly over to the left. We have to have this person walk left foot first as opposed to right foot or whatever. I think it's really cool how they've taken so much time to reference so many things from the comics of Scarlet Witch and Vision.
One of the Easter eggs that I really appreciated was at the beginning of episode 4, where Monica is rematerializing after the blip, what they call Thanos' snap, and she hears all of these things from her past, including Captain Marvel calling her Captain Trouble.
Yeah, it's the opening from the newest episode. I kind of compare it to the opening of a Pixar movie, where the opening of the movie is like so emotionally heavy that the rest of the movie is almost like a blur or whatever. Like Up, like that first 5-10 minutes of the movie is just like a movie in itself. And I really feel like this new episode with I hate calling it the blip. It's the dumbest name for it. But when everyone started to come back, I think the way they tied Monica Rambeau's character's story into that and what was happening, I thought was really cool. I think with Spider-Man Far From Home, they did it in sort of a joking sense. And then, like, it left the internet to be like, what happens if you were on a plane when the blip happened? You know, the plane's no longer there. You're going to fall to your death or something. And I think the opening to this episode really kind of flipped it and showed how it could be very emotionally heavy. And I didn't think they really overdid it too much. I know how chaotic hospitals could be, so right off the bat, I believe the realism there. But just like within the first 5-10 minutes of you being introduced to Monica Rambeau's character for who she really is, it's just like, okay, I'm immediately pulling for her. That I'm immediately invested. So it's still pretty early in both TV shows, so we're just gonna kind of tell you guys what we hope to see going forward with both series. I'll go first with WandaVision. At this point, I feel like I'm kind of done with the kind of homage to sitcoms of the 70s, 80s, 90s, and everything. I don't want the whole episode to be us trapped in that. I really hope that it does maybe 50-50 of like, oh, this is what Scarlet Witch and Vision are like Roseanne on her TV show in the 90s. But then the other half is like what's going on outside of what's happening in this town in New Jersey that very obviously looks like Georgia or something. The show is filmed in Georgia. I know in the comics Leonia is like mentioned for Wanda and Vision, but if you're not going to film it actually in New Jersey, like just say it's Georgia. I think that's weird. They've recorded stuff in like Germany and like Budapest and all these other places. Why not just come to New Jersey to shoot New Jersey? But I kind of hope they do 50-50 as opposed to just having episodes specifically in Wanda's kind of bubble, because we kind of know what's going on now, and then I feel like that's just a little bit of wasting time if we're spending all the time just on that.
And what I want to see for Batwoman is really just a continuation of what we've had so far. The new Bat family trio of Ryan, Mary, and Luke Fox saving Gotham one bad guy at a time. The continuation of Kate Kane's mystery. Is she dead? Is she alive? What happened to Kate? I'd like to see more of basically just what they're doing, putting each of these characters in new dynamic situations. You've got Sophie and Alice in scenes together. You've got Mary and Ryan. You've got maybe any other possible combination, and they just play so well off of each other. I just continue to see what they've been giving us so far.
I do think it's kind of nuts, WandaVision aside, that after the events of Crisis on Infinite Earths, which wrapped up like a year ago, right? Was it a year ago or 2 year ago? That almost everything that they've seemed to be fighting for to keep like canon and safe and solidifying their this Arrowverse or whatever. Essentially, all of it has gone the way of the Buffalo. Supergirl's almost on our way out. Arrow doesn't seem to be picking up its all women like spin-off series, which is devastating. Legends of Tomorrow still kicking, but they're going to outer space now. Um, the Flash is still kicking, but pretty much everything that created this Earth Prime on the show, almost all the players are gone now. It's kind of weird in a way, but I hope they acknowledge that a little bit with going forward. I mean, Leah will have to tell me, but I hope they kind of like reference the fact that like, okay, Supergirl is somewhere else, or Batwoman is she's black and she's proud. So like, I want to let's reference the changes that are happening in the Arrowverse. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to retire with my migraine. So I want to thank you guys for checking out our new episode today. I hope this gets you into watching Batwoman and WandaVision. It's really dope that, in 2021 that we have these two female-led superhero shows on the internet and on TV where young girls are going to be able to just like they'll have no problem seeing themselves in these superhero situations, especially young girls of color. You got Monica Rambeau, who's potentially could be Proton pretty soon, and you have Batwoman over there. So there's a lot of diversity in the heroes that are being portrayed on TV right now, and I think that's awesome. So kudos to everyone that had a finger and a spoon in mixing that pot. I hope you guys check it out. Support them so we can get some more of that stuff. Thank you very much for listening to our new episodes. My name is Mickey on VHS. You can find me on all social media as Mickey on VHS. You can follow us on our Instagram, Nostalgia B-Day Party. Leah, is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Just, continue to stay safe, stay warm, continue to support the media that you like so that there might be a hope of getting more of it in the future. And we will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.